My pranams to all the Gurujis. Today we will start with section 2, which is Maya as Mithya Jagat. A small recap of section 1, where we studied about Maya and creation. In section 1 of Maya, we learned about the word definition of Maya, followed briefly by an overview of Vedantic scriptures. Then from Tattvabodha, we studied in detail about creation or manifestation of universe from Maya Sahita Brahman. The causal matter, Bijam, with its Trigunatmika Maya, gave rise to 24 factors of the world. Then we went into Maya Vichara, where we discussed the unique features of Maya, that is, Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. And lastly, we said every object created by Maya has two causes, that is, material cause or Upadana Karana and the efficient cause or Nimitta Karana. And when both the causes are same, the created object is an illusion. The first example we gave is the Mithya Jagat, or the world we live in. And the second example we gave was the dream. Now let's move on to today's discussion, which is Maya as Mithya Jagat. Today we will review this topic. Maya Mithya, as discussed by Sri Vidyaranyji in Panchadashi chapter 2, verses 47 to 49. Panchadashi is a Vedantic manual which belongs to the Prakarana Grantha. Swami Paramarthananda's explanation on Panchadashi is also strongly considered in this section. Let's start here with the definition of Maya and then move on to Maya's power, which is inferred from verses 47 to 50, followed by the question, is Maya a second entity, from verses 51 to 53, and lastly, the superimposing power of Maya from verses 54 to 59. The definition of Maya, we are not going through the word definition like we did the last time, but we are going to know more features of Maya by these definitions. Maya is known only through inference or anumanam. What does that mean? All this world that we are experiencing around us is idam. And the substratum for all this is Sat Brahman. So, where does Maya belong? Sat, as we know, is a changeless entity. Sat cannot directly give rise to manifestation. But creation exists as we are experiencing it. Therefore, Maya is not Sat. If Maya is not Sat, then is it Asat? That is not existent or unreal? That is not true, because we are experiencing the world. Therefore, Maya is not Asat. Then Maya is neither Sat nor Asat. Therefore, Maya is Mithya, which is apparently real. Maya can be known only through her effects of creating the world. This is called inference or anumana. Maya's power is called Maya Shakti. It's creative power of Brahman. The relationship between Maya and Sat are different. This difference is called Bhinna. Hence, Maya is called Sad Asad Bhinnam. Maya does not have independent existence, that is, Nistattva. Therefore, Maya is Anirvachaniyam, indefinable. It is an illusion. Example is a dream. In this slide, when you look at it, you need to remember the important words. That is, Nistattva, Sad Asad Bhinnam, and Anirvachaniyam. These are the important terminologies one should get into mind when we think about Maya with respect to Panchadashi. Moving ahead, Maya is invisible like our dream. Its power is called Shakti. that is Maya Shaktihi. This Maya Sahita Brahman is responsible for the creation of this universe with its Maya Shakti. Maya is the creative power of Brahman. Pure Brahman or Maya Rahita Brahman cannot produce this universe. In the next slide, we clearly see the concept of Brahman plus Maya, which is the creative power of Brahman, responsible for creating Ishvara, which in turn creates the individual or Jiva and the Jagat. This is the example of the triangular format, but our goal in life is the binary format, moving from this Mithya Jagat to Brahma Satyam. Let's move on to Maya's power inferred from verses 47 to 50. This can be better explained with this example. Here we explain how Maya's power is invisible. It can only be known through its effect and cannot be separated from its borrowed existence, that is from Sat Brahman. Here, when you look at this picture, you see the fire and you see the flame. So what happens? Suppose you keep your hand by mistake in the fire. Well, you feel it's very hot and you burn your finger. So the power to burn of the fire is what we are trying to explain here. The fire is like Sat Brahman, and the power to burn is the Maya's power or Maya Shakti. The flame with the shapes and color is the manifestation or the creation that we are living in. Similarities and differences between Maya and Sat are important to know. The only similarity is that Maya and Sat both are beginningless. Sat has independent existence. It is absolute reality or Paramarthika Satya. It is endless, whereas Maya has no existence of its own. It is apparently real or Vyavaharika Satya, but it has an end. When we attain self-knowledge or the knowledge of Brahman, Maya ends. Maya Mithya has some unique properties. Firstly, it has borrowed existence from Sat. Let's try to understand this further. Only non-existent things borrow existence from Sat. To do the action of borrowing, it should be existent. Therefore, a non-existent thing cannot borrow existence. And an existent thing need not borrow existence. Therefore, whoever borrows existence should be different from Sat and Asat. This Sat Asat Vilakshanam is called Mithya. The example for this is the rope and snake, which we'll go through in a detail in a little bit. This Brahma Shakti Maya is belonging to this Sad Asad Vilakshanam category, enjoying an existence borrowed from Sat Brahman. Therefore, Mithya has a borrowed existence. This Mithya is not a permanent entity like Sat. Mithya is Anitya, whereas Sat Brahman is ever existent. It is Nitya. Secondly, the next unique feature is Asad Basamana. Here author Vidyaranyaji says, as per Shastra Pramana, the world is Sad Vilakshanam. Hence, the world comes under the Asat category. But as per Pratyaksha Pramana, the world is experienceable. Hence, the world comes under the experienceable category. Therefore, world is Asat as per Shastra Pramana and experienceable as per Pratyaksha Pramana. Anything which is experienceable and Asat is Asat Basamana. The example for this is the world we are living in. Another example we can also consider is our own shadow. Moving on to the next one. Maya Mithya is also called tamas, or darkness. There is a passage in scriptures which quotes that before creation there was darkness covered by darkness, which means Brahman is covered by Maya. The darkness of Mithya covered the light of Brahman. Next slide. Tamas veils the nature of self-luminous Brahman. Here, tamas is compared to the darkness like screen. When the screen is removed by the knowledge of Brahman, we see the self-effulgent Sat Brahman. Moving on to next verses 51 to 53. Is Maya a second entity? Maya cannot be counted as a second entity because reality and not utility is the criteria for counting. In the next example, in the slide, you see, next slide please, our own shadow cannot be counted as an other individual, but the existence of the shadow cannot be denied. This is further elaborated in Prashna Upanishad. Maya cannot exist independently. It has borrowed existence from Sat, but it is inseparable from Sat. To further understand this, let's take an example of a speaking power of a person. The power of speaking cannot be separated from a person. For some reason, if a person loses his power to talk, the speaking power disappears, but the person remains to be a man. Maya is the creative power of Brahman. No power is of any use to anyone unless it is put into action and results are seen. For example, if we look at the nuclear power, which can be used for war, or it can be used to generate power or electricity to help the society. Therefore, there is no reason for Maya's independence. The goal of life is Sat Brahman and not Maya. Moving to verses 54 to 59, where we look at superimposition of Maya. This is a very important concept in Vedanta. The superimposition is called Adhyasa in Vedanta. It is a relationship which exists between two objects. The superimposed object is called Adhinam, that is Maya in this case, and the other object is the substratum is called Adhishtanam, which is the Sat Brahman in the case we are discussing. The special characteristics of Adhinam is termed as Adhinatma. The Adhinam is inferred from its effects, that is Maya. The Adhishtanam remains undiluted from the illusionary Adhinam, and the Adhishtanam also remains non-dual, although the Adhinam is in duality. Next slide. Here we look into the differences between the superimposed and the substratum. Adhyasa, the superimposed, Maya in this case, is a lower order of reality or phenomenal reality, that is Vyavaharika Satya. Whereas the Adhisthana, the substratum, that is Sat Brahman, is a higher order of reality, which is absolute reality or Paramarthika Satya. In the next slide, we see this, we'll take the example of the snake and the rope. It's a very famous example which is mentioned in a lot of Vedantic aspects. The snake here is considered as the dhyasa and the rope as the adhisthana. The snake rope analogy. Suppose we enter into a dark room and suddenly we see a snake. The natural or spontaneous reaction will be either to run away or grab it for an earning if that's what we do. So two types of reaction. One is you run away from it or you run toward it. If we switch on the light and immediately without any delay, we see it's just a rope. The running is over and there is peace. This means mind has two dimensions: to give or take, that is to accept or to reject. Advaita teaches us to go beyond mind into the third dimension of stillness, that is to go beyond duality. So let us take this example further to understand the differences between the snake and the rope, that is the superimposed and the substratum. Here, snake was superimposed upon the rope by false perception. It was an illusion. Snake seemed truth, but was never a truth. Snake did not last forever. It was not permanent. Snake vanished without any trace and without any delay. Snake did not exist beyond rope. Snake cannot exist with rope. Snake is dependent upon rope for its existence. Snake cannot exist without rope, so rope is its adhara or support, the substratum base upon which snake rested. Rope can exist without snake. In the above snake rope analogy, if we replace the snake with Maya and rope with Sat, we will have a clear understanding of the Adhyasa and Adhishtanam relationship. So let's go ahead and replace and see how this looks like. Maya was superimposed upon Sat by false perception. It was an illusion. Maya seemed truth, but was never a truth. Maya did not last forever. It was not permanent. Maya vanished without any trace and without any delay. Maya did not exist beyond Sat. Maya cannot exist with Sat. Maya is dependent upon Sat for its existence. Maya cannot exist without Sat. So Sat is its adhara or support, the substratum base upon which Maya rested. Sat can exist without Maya. So I think this makes our understanding of the Adhyasa and the Adhisthanam relationship very clear. Moving on to the next slide, there are two types of superimposition. The first one is the Grihastha type and the second one is the Ekadesha type. The first type, where the Adhinam completely pervades the Adhishtanam. The example is the snake and the rope that we just studied. The second type is of the Ekadesha type. One space type where the Adhinam is seen on only one part of the Adhishtanam. Example is the Maya's pervasiveness over Brahman. It conceals a part of Brahman and not the whole. This can be better explained when you consider the following example. When we see that the sphere here is considered as earth and a part of the earth which is clay, it is called snigdha, the soft muddy clay which can be used to make pot. Here, only that part of the earth which is the muddy clay or the sticky clay called snigdha can be used to make the pot. So we are comparing the entire earth to Brahman, the part of the clay which can be used to make the pot as Maya, and the pot is a creation or manifestation itself. So moving on to the next slide, by the previous example that we have discussed, we conclude that Brahman extends beyond manifestation, not affected by the universe. Because that part of the earth which had only clay was used to make the pot which represented the manifestation. The rest of the earth which still had other material other than the clay was still free. So that was the Brahman which was free from Maya. So Brahman, even in the part that is associated with Maya, remains changeless. Moving on to the next slide. Here we see a beautiful painting on the wall. What does this imply to us? Maya paints manifestation on Brahman. Here again, it is a simile where when you see this painting on the wall is compared to Brahman. The paint is the Maya, and the pictures with people and with various names and forms is the manifestation or the world that we live in. So the wall, the Brahman, supports the painting, the Maya, and also the paint generated pictures also. That is the paint generated Maya generated Nama Rupas also. So the whole world is a painting of the canvas called consciousness. Next, we go to the summary of Maya Mithya. Here, Maya also means Mithya, which is an illusion. The example we also went through was a dream. Maya's products are also Mithya. Maya manifests the universe, which was in an unmanifest potential form. Maya uses its creative power or Maya Shakti to do so. Next slide. Maya is based on Brahman. Maya's projection world is also based on Brahman. Maya is like the dream of Brahman, which projects the world like its dream. It appears seemingly real. Next slide. Maya and the world borrow existence from Brahman. Both are anadi or beginningless. Maya can be put to dusk by the knowledge of Brahman. Next slide. So now it's up to us to end the saga of Mithya Jagat and to put an effort to reach towards Brahma Satyam. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to leave you with this picture. It's a picture of an optical illusion. And we often have a proverb which says, what the mind does not know, the eyes do not see. So I leave you with a question. What do you see in this picture? Different people are going to see different things based on their experiences. Some might see two faces with a white outline. Some might see a vase in the middle. Some might see a white triangle obscuring a black triangle in the background. Whatever you are seeing is still an illusion. Whatever your mind is seeing is also an illusion. So this body and this mind is also Maya. So we often think if all this is Maya, the world we are in is also Maya. So we are studying the scriptures and we are listening to all this. Is this also Maya? We need to think for ourselves. Is this truly Maya? And if so, why are we studying the scriptures? That comes into your mind. But we know that the only way to get Brahma Satyam is to study the knowledge of Brahman. So we have to know And we have to study the scriptures, which is the only path, or the knowledge of Brahman is the only truth that we have to end this world of Maya. And hence, we have to negate this Maya with the knowledge of Brahman and with the study of our scriptures. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Timmappa Hegde, sir, for being my guide. And also, I would like to thank Team Param Vedanta. Thank you and Hari Om.